There's something fascinating that happens when you shift your energy away from chasing someone who constantly pulls back, especially if that person has avoidant tendencies. Most people in those situations feel a tug of war. One person craves closeness while the other feels overwhelmed by it. So when the avoidant steps back, your natural instinct might be to lean in, to explain, to check in, to fix it. But here's where the magic happens. When you don't chase, when you stay silent longer than they anticipated, the entire dynamic flips. At first, they may feel relief. Silence means space. They get what they think they wanted. But over time, that silence becomes louder than any words. They start to notice the absence of your energy. They wonder why you're not doing what they expected you to do. That curiosity grows into unease. Because silence, my friends, is not just the absence of noise. Silence is presence. It's confidence. It's self-respect. And in that silence, something powerful happens. The avoidant is forced to face themselves. They have to ask, was I pushing this person away because I truly needed space, or because I thought they would always be there, no matter how far I pulled back? When you stay silent longer than they expected, you stop feeding the cycle of distance and pursuit. You show them, without words, that your value doesn't depend on their attention. And the best part, you're not doing this as a game. You're not manipulating. You're simply holding your boundary and letting your silence speak for you. When someone with avoidant tendencies first encounters silence, it can feel like a gift. They may even experience a sense of relief, because for them, space is safety. The lack of immediate pressure, no questions, no calls, no texts asking, "What's wrong?" makes them believe they've regained control of the dynamic. They think the silence means freedom from demands. In the beginning, they may even enjoy it. They can retreat into their own world without guilt or without the need to explain. For an avoidant, this is often what they want, at least on the surface. But silence has a way of changing its meaning the longer it lingers. What first feels like comfort begins to take on a different weight over time. The absence of words, of energy, of effort starts to highlight what they've lost. They may not admit it immediately, but the human brain is wired for connection. Even those who avoid intimacy are not immune to the subtle discomfort that grows when the expected patterns are disrupted. And the truth is, avoidants often rely more heavily on those patterns than they realize. Think about it, many avoidants operate with an unconscious expectation that the other person will always reach out, always close the gap, always bridge the distance. It becomes almost predictable. They pull away, you follow. They go quiet, you make noise. They retreat, you advance. So when that cycle is broken and your silence extends further than their comfort zone, a new kind of tension enters the picture. Suddenly, the quiet is not relief anymore. It is uncertainty. Instead of feeling free, they begin to wonder why the script has changed. This is where unease starts to creep in, because what they thought was a guarantee, your consistent presence, your consistent pursuit, no longer feels certain, and human beings, even avoidants, don't like uncertainty when it challenges their sense of security. They may not miss you consciously at first, but they start to feel the absence. It's not just the lack of words they notice, it's the lack of energy, of warmth, of the reassurance they had quietly relied on. The silence grows louder the longer it stretches, and with that volume comes awareness. Awareness that the person they thought would always be there is no longer making themselves available on demand. Awareness that their behavior might actually have consequences they didn't anticipate. That awareness creates an internal friction. On one hand, they still crave space. On the other, the silence they once welcomed now leaves them questioning. Why aren't they reaching out? Have they moved on? Did they stop caring? That unease is not about you proving anything to them. It's not about playing games or trying to punish them. It's simply the natural result of breaking a cycle. When you stay silent longer than they expected, you hand back responsibility for the connection. You are no longer carrying the weight of maintaining it. And for the avoidant, that shift is unsettling because it forces them to see what it feels like when they are the one left with the silence. When silence enters the space between you and someone with avoidant tendencies, it doesn't just create distance, it changes the rules of the game. In relationships with avoidance, the pattern is usually predictable. They withdraw and you step forward to close the gap. They create distance and you try to bridge it. This pattern can repeat so often that it feels almost automatic, like an invisible script both people are reading from without realizing it. For the avoidant, this predictability offers security. They know they can retreat, and you will come chasing after them. But when that script suddenly changes, when you withhold the pursuit and hold your silence longer than they expect, it flips the dynamic on its head. The shift begins subtly. They may not notice it right away, because their instinct is to assume the silence is temporary. They might think you are pausing before eventually doing what you always do. But as the silence stretches further, the absence of your familiar response disrupts the entire rhythm they rely on. For the first time, they are not the ones dictating the pace of connection. Instead, your silence takes the lead, and they are the ones reacting to it. This reversal is powerful because it interrupts the unconscious pattern of pursuit and distance, forcing them into a new role they did not anticipate. When the dynamic flips, curiosity starts to replace certainty. Instead of expecting you to reappear with reassurance, they begin to wonder why you haven't. Their mind, which once found comfort in the predictability of your pursuit, now starts running scenarios. Have you lost interest? Have you decided to move on? Are you tired of the game? This shift is significant because it takes them out of their comfort zone. They are no longer in the driver's seat, and that unfamiliar feeling stirs a mixture of curiosity, anxiety, and reflection. The longer the silence continues, the stronger this reversal becomes. They may even feel pulled towards you without fully understanding why. It's not necessarily because they've suddenly decided to change or because they are ready for deeper intimacy. It's because the absence of pursuit creates a vacuum. Where they once felt certainty in your effort, now they feel a gap. And nature hates a vacuum, so does the human heart. Your silence, by flipping the dynamic, makes them experience what it feels like to long for what was once taken for granted. This shift also highlights an important truth. Power in relationships often lies not in words or effort, but in patterns. When one person consistently takes responsibility for maintaining the bond, the other unconsciously learns to expect it. By staying silent longer than they expect, you remove yourself from that responsibility and allow them to feel the consequences of their own distance. It flips the energy of the interaction from you carrying the connection to them noticing its absence. And that shift alone is often enough to make them reconsider not just your role in the relationship, but their own. Silence is often misunderstood as emptiness, as if saying nothing communicates nothing. But in reality, silence is one of the strongest signals you can send when you stop filling the space with explanations, reassurances, or attempts to win someone back. You project a different kind of energy, one that quietly speaks of strength. It says without words, I am not desperate for your attention. I do not need to chase you to feel secure. I value myself enough to sit with the quiet rather than scramble for scraps of connection. That is why silence, when used with intention, becomes a powerful form of confidence. Most people underestimate how much their actions reveal, especially in moments of tension. An avoidant partner expects pursuit because that's what reinforces their sense of control. The moment you pull back, their assumptions are challenged. Your choice not to run after them shows that you are not clinging. You are not afraid to let them sit with their distance. That restraint requires self-possession, and it radiates a kind of inner assurance that words often can't capture. You're not telling them you're confident, you're showing it through your behavior. There is also a subtle dignity in silence. Words can sometimes come across as pleading, defensive, or even combative, depending on how they're received. But silence avoids all of that. It creates a boundary without confrontation. It allows you to hold your ground with grace, demonstrating that you don't need to fight for validation. Your stillness becomes a statement, I am worth being chosen freely, not coaxed or begged into consideration. This kind of message lands more deeply than long speeches ever could because it's felt rather than argued. Silence also gives the impression of self-sufficiency. When someone is used to you rushing in to reassure them, your decision not to breaks the image of dependency they may have constructed. Instead, it paints a picture of someone who is grounded, who doesn't collapse when attention is withheld. And that shift is magnetic. Confidence, after all, isn't loud, it's steady. It's the calmness of someone who knows their value and doesn't need external validation to confirm it. By staying silent, you embody that calm. Another reason silence communicates confidence is because it reflects trust in your own worth and in the natural outcome of the situation. You're not panicking, trying to control their perception or manipulate the next step. You're allowing the relationship to breathe, letting the other person sit with the space, and that restraint shows maturity. It says you trust that if they value the connection, they will come forward on their own. If they don't, then you are strong enough to move forward without them. That level of self-belief is unmistakably attractive, even to someone who fears closeness. And finally, silence gives weight to your presence. When you no longer rush to fill the void, the other person starts to realize how much of the energy came from you all along. They feel your absence more acutely because your quiet confidence makes them aware of what they stand to lose. That realization can shift the way they see you, not as someone who needs them to feel whole, but as someone who is whole already and therefore commands respect simply by standing still. When the silence stretches further than an avoidant expected, something begins to happen that they don't often allow themselves to experience. They are confronted with their own behavior. In relationships, avoidants are skilled at shifting attention away from their role in the distance. They retreat, and the other person rushes in with explanations, questions, or reassurances. That pursuit conveniently distracts from the avoidant's own avoidance. The spotlight never stays on them long enough for them to face their fears or acknowledge the impact of their withdrawal. But when you stop filling the silence, when you resist the urge to chase, they are left with nothing to hide behind but themselves. At first, they may not even recognize this shift. The quiet feels comfortable in the beginning, almost like a relief. But as time passes, the lack of pursuit removes their buffer. There's no one explaining, no one smoothing things over, no one making excuses for their absence. The avoidant is forced to notice the gap, and in that gap, uncomfortable questions surface. Did I push too hard? Did I retreat too far? Did I mistake their patience for permanence? Those questions don't arrive all at once, but they creep in when the silence stretches, and they're impossible to ignore. The beauty of this dynamic is that it breaks a cycle. When you always respond to their withdrawal with pursuit, you essentially shield them from the consequences of their behavior. They never have to feel the weight of their distance because you're always there to bridge it. But when you stay silent, they finally encounter the reality of what distance creates: disconnection. And disconnection, no matter how much they claim to want space, is not what they truly desire deep down. Humans, even avoidants, are wired for connection. When they feel the absence of it, it triggers reflection, whether they want it to or not. This process can be deeply unsettling for them. Reflection means vulnerability, and vulnerability is what avoidants fear. Yet silence leaves them no choice but to notice the discomfort. They may try to distract themselves, bury themselves in work, hobbies, or other people, but their absence lingers. It's not about missing constant communication. It's about the unfamiliar feeling of not being pursued. That forces them to look inward, and what they find can be eye-opening. They start to see the link between their pulling away and the emptiness it creates. For the avoidant, this can be a pivotal moment. They begin to understand that relationships are not one-sided, that intimacy cannot thrive when they always retreat and expect the other person to do the work. Your silence doesn't punish them, it simply hands back the responsibility they've been avoiding. And in that mirror, they can finally see themselves clearly. Some may resist this awareness, while others may grow from it. But either way, the silence plants a seed of accountability. It reminds them, often for the first time, that their choices have consequences they can no longer escape by expecting you to fill the silence for them. When you choose silence in the face of an avoidance withdrawal, it's important to understand that you're not playing a trick, setting a trap, or trying to manipulate them into behaving differently. That kind of thinking leads to games, and games create instability. What you are really doing is honoring a boundary, one that says you will not keep giving energy to a situation where it isn't reciprocated. The difference between a game and a boundary lies in intention. A game is about control, about making the other person chase or feel insecure. A boundary, on the other hand, is about self-respect. It's about deciding what behavior you are willing to accept and what you're no longer going to participate in. When you stop chasing and allow silence to linger, you are sending a clear message. Your energy is valuable, and you will not spend it endlessly on someone who won't meet you halfway. This isn't about withholding to punish them. It's about protecting your well-being and breaking the cycle where all of the effort flows in one direction. People with avoidant tendencies often count on that cycle. They know that if they retreat, you'll move closer, and that unconscious expectation allows them to keep distance without ever facing the risk of real loss. By staying silent, you're not trying to manipulate them into missing you. You're simply refusing to keep playing a role that drains you. There's a quiet strength in this approach because it requires discipline. It's much easier to send the text, to make the call, to bridge the gap so the tension dissolves. But choosing silence demonstrates that you're willing to tolerate the discomfort of uncertainty for the sake of protecting your emotional health. That choice is not only powerful, it's liberating. You're no longer held hostage by the fear of their withdrawal. Instead, you let them sit with the space they created, and you remain grounded in your decision not to collapse your boundaries for the sake of temporary relief. Boundaries also shift the focus away from them and back to you. It's not about what they are or aren't doing, but about what you choose to allow in your life. When you make silence a boundary, you reclaim agency. You stop operating from the reactive position of, how do I make them come back? And instead live from the proactive position of, what behavior do I accept into my world? That mindset changes everything because it reinforces that your self-worth isn't tied to their actions. And while an avoidant may feel the ripple effects of your silence, the real power is what it does for you. It teaches you to value your energy, to honor your standards, and to trust that you don't need to chase connection to deserve it. That shift in posture often makes others reassess how they treat you because they sense the change in how you treat yourself. The silence becomes a natural extension of your boundary, not a tactic to provoke, but a reflection of your commitment to no longer give more than you receive. And that is where your true power lies. So when you step back and allow silence to do the work, everything changes. What begins as relief for the avoidance slowly becomes discomfort. The dynamic flips, and instead of you chasing, they are left to notice the gap you no longer fill. Your silence speaks louder than any words, carrying confidence, self-respect, and dignity. It forces them to confront their own behavior and reflect on the distance they've created. And most importantly, it shows that this is not a game you're playing, but a boundary you're honoring, a choice to value your energy and protect your heart. Silence doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how you see yourself. It reminds you that you are not defined by whether someone stays or goes, and that the strength to hold your ground will always be more powerful than chasing someone who retreats. So the next time you feel the urge to break the silence just to ease the tension, remember this: you're not losing them by staying quiet, you're gaining yourself. And that is the foundation of every healthy connection you'll ever build. Thank you for giving me your time, your attention, and your trust today. I hope these words stay with you the next time silence feels heavy. Carry them as a reminder that your presence has power, your boundaries have meaning, and your worth does not depend on anyone else's willingness to see it. Thank you, and take care of yourself.